Hello and welcome to Non Sequitur News for, let's say June 20th, 2025. I'm MayorWatt. I run ohmTown.com a whole lot better than I'm doing this show. Go over to ohmTown.com. Check it out. It's right there. The Sentient AI is not here today, but we're going to talk about AAAAAAflac data breach. What's going on in the front seat, Undertale anniversary concert, a sequel to 28 years later. This will buff right out. Bond. Name battle. Bond. Goblin-like lizard jar, a crystal-covered chair, the Rubin Observatory party, and a 1,000-year-old mummy. Everything's powered by ohmTown.com. I am in the time machine again because I wasn't available on the 20th. I'm making it up right now. Wasn't available on the 21st or 22nd. I've got 6 shows to catch up to. And then the 21st, once I turn off the time machine, I got to do the 21st as well. Or, sorry, the 23rd as well. Wow. Timey-wimey stuff messes with my head. Anyway, I'm going to rush through this. Then I'll post it all over on the YouTubes. It's in the show notes over on YouTube, the actual links that we're going to talk about today, but they're not in Showbot. It's not even Showbot. It's ohmTown. My God. I'll figure it out one of these days, folks. You know, I've been doing this for 4 years, and I still derp the hell out of it. It's just the way that it is. All right, let's get going. All right, the first article is over in One Channel. Looks like cyber criminals breach AAAAAAflac. Private customer data could be at risk. It's possible that social security numbers may have been compromised, and it's unclear about how many people have been affected. The article is by Bree Fowler over at cnet.com. Yeah, this happened back a little while ago. AAAAFlac said that on Friday. Well, in the time machine, it would be actually today. But anyway, AAAAFlac said that Friday that cyber criminals had breached its computer systems, potentially exposing some of the most personal data, including social security numbers, healthcare information of an unknown number of Americans, marking the latest in a recent string of online attacks against insurance companies. AAAAFlac is the latest and biggest insurance company so far to be targeted by cyber criminals. Philadelphia Insurance and Erie Insurance were hit by cyber attacks earlier this month and and have yet to resume full operations. It says this attack, like many insurance companies are currently experiencing, was caused by a sophisticated cybercrime group. It was part of a cybercrime campaign against the insurance industry. Not sure why that would be. John Holtquist, chief analyst for Google's threat intelligence group, said that the recent attack against the insurance companies bear all the hallmarks of the scattered spider cybercrime, which has been tied to high-profile attacks against financial services, telecommunications, and Las Vegas casinos and hotels. Yeah. AAAAFlac is the largest provider of supplemental health insurance in the U.S. and a global customer base of about 50 million people. Let's keep going. Next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Oh, yeah, I give credit. Tesla just admitted something wildly embarrassing about what it'll be in the front seat of all of its robotaxis, apparently. Tesla is poised to finally launch its long-awaited, not really, robotaxi service this weekend in Austin, Texas, but there's a huge embarrassing catch in it as electric. Reports the self-driving cabs will have a human safety monitor plunked in the front passenger seat, a far cry from Elon Musk's bold promise that none of his ever get kept. But anyway, that his automaker will be hosting unsupervised rides this summer. A hilarious admission was disclosed in the recent invitations Tesla sent out to those interested in participating in the robotaxi service. I won't even go into what they're calling them over on the site, but Bozo Taxi is what the section is titled. Frank Landemore put it together. It's all posted over at futurism.com. Sounds like passengers won't be riding alone because there's going to be a human plopped just somebody filling up the spot because he'd rather have robots than humans. Scheduled to debut on June 22nd. So if you're following along, I'm in the time machine coming back to the 20th from the 23rd. Hopefully I'll be able to get some of this done. Play catch up. Scheduled to debut on the 22nd. The Robotaxi launch will start with just 10 vehicles in operation, which will be confined to a geo-fenced pre-mapped zone of Austin. These won't be the two-seater purpose-built taxis known as Cybercab that actually comes out of other movies that they unveiled in October. Instead, the Robotaxis will be a regular Model Y cars installed with an experimental version of the automaker's self-driving software. Yay! Experiment on me. Yay. That's what we need. Anyway, it hasn't proven to be the case. The automaker has struggled to fine-tune its misleading named full self-driving driver assistance software, which has been involved in multiple deadly crashes and is currently the subject of a federal investigation. Har har. That isn't going to happen. After a car with the driving mode activated struck and killed an elderly pedestrian, there's been others that have something has happened involving quote-unquote full self-driving. It says with black marks like those, Tesla hasn't made a convincing case that it'll be capable of making step up to deploying robotaxi software which operates without human supervision. To be clear, it says here in the article, when robotaxi leader Waymo first started testing passenger rides, it also had human supervisors physically present. Electric noted, with its fair share of controversies too. The difference in this case is that these Tesla robotaxis spent all of their time hyping up a full-blown launch, has repeatedly insisted that its cars would be ready to roll without a safety chaperone, and has never passed up an opportunity to exaggerate. Yeah. Good luck, Austin. It won't happen to you until it happens to you. The next article is over in Tabletop Nights. Undertale 10th anniversary concert will be held in Japan this September and October. The article is by Kite Stenbuck over at rpgsite.net. The official website for the concert is also included in the full set list, so you can take a look at everything that's going to be going on. It's September 13th, 14th and 15th, and then October 12th and 13th. You'll have to go and check it all out. Let's see. How much does that come to? I don't know. Where's it going to be? So there's an official website. You'll be able to go over to it if you follow the link through ohmTown. Let's keep on going, though. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. The sequel to 28 Years Later has already been filmed, and here's what to know about the Bone Temple. So there's spoilers in this, so I'm just going to kind of stall this. I'm not going to really talk about it all that much. So Eamon Jacobs over at BusinessInsider.com put the article together. Horror fans rejoice. The sequel to the long-awaited 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, has already been filmed and is due out in theaters next year. 2002's 28 Days Later became a cult classic by taking a fresh bite out of the zombie movie genre. Instead of a supernatural threat, the undead are infected by the rage virus. 28 Years Later, out Friday, is the start of a new trilogy from the director and screenwriter of the original film, Danny Boyle and Alex Garland. It tells the story of a 12-year-old Spike Alfie Williams who leaves the safety of the island where his family lives to find a cure for a sick mother on the UK mainland. By the end of the film, his lets the mysterious Dr. Kelson do something. Oh, spoiler alert. Let's move on. Oh, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, that doesn't matter. Anyway, SpaceX lights up night sky with a massive Starship fireball. Don't worry, it's not their money. Elon Musk touts the SpaceX Starship as the spacecraft that will deliver humanity to Mars. We don't need to go to Mars. We need to solve other problems, like sociopathy. But the massive rocket has rarely made it to space without exploding. Taxpayers. Ryan Eric King over at jalopnik.com put the article together. The video footage of the explosion was stunning in its scale. One moment it was just mundane lull between static rocket fires as more cryogenic propellant was being loaded on board. The next moment, the video feed went completely white as a sudden blast overwhelmed the camera's exposure setting. A massive fireball came into view once the camera adjusted to the flames. They tagged it as a major anomaly. The underside of the SpaceX Starship is covered in 18,000 black silica-based hexagonal tiles meant to protect the spacecraft from extreme temperatures of atmospheric reentry. But it's such a derpy design that I doubt that it'll ever make it to space. It's basically the shuttle that is going to come back and get caught vertically instead of just landing on wheels. All right. It doesn't make any sense that you add all of this complexity to this BS, but anyway, it just needs to be done right. And all of these maneuvering points and a belly flop thing and all kinds of stuff that can go horribly, horribly wrong, increasing the complexity of it is just bunk. Anyway, at least we're moving forward, right? Right? No. Anyway, the next article is over in Hatch Ideas. James Bond owners say name battle is an assault on 007 franchise. The owners of James Bond. Oh, that's sad. The owners of James Bond have called the attempt by an Austrian businessman to take control of the super spy's name across Europe an unprecedented assault on the multi-billion-pound global franchise. In February, The Guardian revealed that a Dubai-based property developer has filed claims in the UK and EU, arguing the lack of use meant various protections had lapsed around James Bond's intellectual property, including his name, his 007 assignation. Wouldn't that be designation? Wouldn't he be? I guess you get assigned it, but it's a designation of 007. And the catchphrase, Bond, James Bond. I named this Bond, Name Battle Bond. I had no idea that they were going to say Bond, James Bond in the article. Anyway, the article's over at The Guardian, written by Mark Sweeney, or Sweeney. I'm not sure how they pronounce their last name. Nearly all of the 9 trademarks being challenged relate to the merchandising of goods and services under the Bond name, which can be challenged after 5 years of non-use. Joseph Kleindienst, an Austrian who's building a $5 billion luxury resort complex called the Heart of Europe on 6 artificial islands off Dubai, has argued that trademarks have been commercially underexploited. Doesn't matter if the stuff is still out there and being marketed, it's still in use. Whatever. Anyway, lawyers representing Danjag, the US-based company which controls the rights to worldwide James Bond merchandising in conjunction with the UK-based production company Eon, have hit back, aiming to vigorously defend the 007 franchise. All right. It has also emerged that Kleindienst has extended his attempt to try to take control of the spy's various brands by also submitting his own trademark for the James Bond name in Europe. He has not, however, done the same in the UK. Ballsy. The plot thickens, Cattle says. Opting for an abuse of use defense suggests that Danjag could believe that the cancellation's attempt is not legitimate, and specifically that the challenger may not be intending to use the marks commercially. While it's impossible to say for sure what the challenger's motives are in this case, the James Bond trademark portfolio and its legacy value does make it an enticing target for opportunists, and further cancellation attempts can't be ruled out. The next article is over in the Mobile Channel. All they have to do is produce stuff. It could be merchandise, clothing, cups, whatever. It's being used. A jar of fossil bones long stored in a museum led scientists to discover a goblin-like lizard from 76 million years ago. Fossils described in a new study speak to a previously unknown large-bodied lizard diversity, that existed alongside dinosaurs. Margarita Bassi over at Smithsonian Magazine put the article together. They don't have a picture of the jar, but they do have a picture of the lizard. It just said the fossils, bones, were contained in a jar labeled lizard, and scientists recently described them as belonging to the Bolg amondal, B-O-L-G, and then amondal. Despite almost a century of collection of monstosaur fossils, their record remains extremely fragmentary. The researchers write in the study, the skeletons found in the jar also are in fragments, but scientists say it reveals a lot. Got a broad sample of skeleton preserved. There's no overlapping bones. There's no two hip bones or anything like that. So we can be confident that the remains likely belong to a single individual. All right. So they said it's 76 million year old fossils came to light in 2005 at the Grand Staircase Escalante National Monuments Capararis formation in southern Utah, a rock formation that has turned out to be a paleontological hotspot. But after their discovery, the bones ended up in a jar labeled lizard. Oh, look. Fragmentary skeleton here, says Hank Woolley, a research fellow at the National History Museum in Los Angeles. Dinosaur Institute said in a statement. The study published Wednesday in the journal Royal Society Open Science. Lizard jar. Museum goers accidentally break a fragile crystal-covered chair inspired by Vincent van Gogh. Security footage shows that two idiots were pretending to sit on the artwork as they posed for a photo in the Palazzo Maffei in Italy. After the piece's front legs bucked, the pair left the museum because they're idiots. Sonia Anderson over at SmithsonianMag.com put the article together. First, a woman hovered over the chair while a man took her photo, but then the man attempted to strike the same pose, fell back onto the piece, breaking its front legs. The culprits hurried out of the room and left the Palazzo Maffei in Verona without reporting the damage, but the incident was caught on camera. It wasn't such a brilliant thought to sit on the artwork. Why? Why sit on it? You're dumb. Entitled Goobers. The artwork titled Van Gogh's Chair is by the Italian artist Nicola Bolla, known for intricate eye-catching sculptures made of unique materials such as playing cards. According to a statement from the museum, his most famous series, Vanitas, is a collection of realistic sculptures either covered in or made of materials like Swarovski crystals, including a skull, a toilet, and a noose and stool. Ay, people. That's how it looked. And it looks like a simple chair. I don't know how it's inspired by Van Gogh, for crying out loud. That's a stretch, just trying to tie it to somebody's clout. All right, the next article is over in Technology Today. The Rubin Observatory is throwing a big party to reveal its first pictures, and you were invited. After more than 20 years of planning and construction, Vera C. Rubin Observatory is ready for its grand opening, and the world is invited. It's in the foothills of the Chilean Andes, features a monster of a telescope with an 8.4 meter or 28 foot wide mirror, coupled with what's said to be the world's largest digital camera. Yeah, this thing looks like a beast. Look at that thing. Alan Boyle over at GeekWire put the article together. It will survey the night sky every night for at least 10 years, producing about 20 trillion bytes of data every 24 hours. It would take you more than 3 years of watching Netflix or over 50 years of listening to Spotify to use that amount of data. Challenge accepted. The first images and the videos are due to be unveiled on Monday, on the 23rd. All right, everybody. If you're, well, you see, I'm from the 23rd. I'm just going back in time to do the show. So today, anyway, 3 days from now. Says, I cannot tell you what's on them, but I can tell you we just finished them and they look amazing. Says Mario Jurek, a member of the Rubin team and director of the University of Washington's Dirac Institute. Says on the Fiction Science podcast, I did not spend a day doing what I was supposed to be doing because I just spent it browsing through the images. I could teach an entire class by just zooming in on different parts of this image and explaining what the object is. Pretty cool. All right, let's keep moving. Our last article for the 20th is over in the Mobile Channel. Peru gas workers find 1,000-year-old mummy. Peruvian gas workers this week found a 1,000-year-old mummy while installing pipes in Lima, their company said, confirming the latest discovery of a pre-Hispanic tomb in the capital. Andrew Zinnen put the article together. Well, it was edited by, but it doesn't say who the article was actually by. It's over at phys.org. Go and check it out. The mummy is of a person between the ages 10 and 15, found at a depth of 1.2 meters. The burial and the objects correspond to a style that was developed 1000 to 1200. Remains discovered on Monday were found in a sitting position with the arms and legs bent, and they were also found in a shroud which contained calabash gourds. Ceramic objects, including plates, bottles, and jugs decorated with geometric figures and figures of fishermen, were found next to the mummy. And the tomb and artifacts belong to the pre-Inca Chankay culture, which lived in the Lima area between the 11th and 15th centuries. They were discovered while gas workers were removing earth from an avenue in Puente Piedra, district of northern Lima. Pretty awesome. Calida has made more than 2,200 archaeological finds since 2004. Lima is home to over 500 archaeological sites, including dozens of huacas, as ancient cemeteries are known in the indigenous, I think it's Quechua language. Pretty awesome. There's more to read over at these articles, so please follow all of the links in the show notes over on YouTube. Of course, we like to hang out here on Twitch and YouTube, so if you are interested in that kind of thing, we try to be here on the daily, but mayoral duties as of late have kept me extremely busy on the weekends. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see you in a little bit. I'm going to try. I won't be able to. I'm going to try and play catch up. Maybe tomorrow I'll be able to. We're going to do 6 shows. Maybe I'll be able to do. See, I can't do tonight's until all the rest are done because you have to keep the timeline. Otherwise, it creates a causality issue, and who knows what happens. Anyway, somebody becomes their own cousins, sisters, brothers, like a Mog, right? A man and a dog. Be your own best friend.